Well, hello. Welcome back to Survival Saturday with Johnny Tiger. The date is October 10, 2020. That's pretty cool. 10102020. Yeah, what can I say? I'm a bit of a geek sometimes. One thing that is very much recurring in the self-defense circle and the teaching of self-defense is that we often see this scenario. Person A speaks to person B, and person A says, "Hey, I know this really cool technique, or I learned self-defense. I learned this. I'm taking Aikido. I'm taking Hapkido. I'm taking Karate. I'm taking Krav Maga." And person B says, "Oh yeah? Now here, show me a technique." Person A shows person B this technique. Let's say someone grab you by the neck, and then you hit the wrist and step in and bring in the elbow. Hit the person with the elbow while breaking the grip. Very standard, very common. And then what person B is going to say is that technique doesn't work. Person A says why? Person B says try that technique again. I'll show you. Again, person B grab person A by the neck. Person A go for the hit to the wrist to break the grip. But just as he hit the wrist, person B bring the knee up into person A's groin. And now person A is on the ground crying. And next day, person A go to the gym, go to the studio, cancels his membership because the technique he learned it doesn't work. That is very, very common. I've seen it done many, many times. I've done it to people myself, most of the time unintentionally or out of good intention to show them there is a problem in their technique. But what I want to say today is don't rush off to cancel your membership because you show your good friend the technique once and then they tell you it doesn't work and ask you to repeat the technique and then you repeat the technique and they break your technique. It doesn't work. Nothing wrong with the technique, something wrong with the scenario that you find yourself involved in, something wrong with the processing of the scenario in your brain. Why do techniques fail in these circumstances? Because you already demonstrated once to person B what you're going to do, which means by the time they tell you that doesn't work, here, do it on me and I'll show you. They already got it figured out in their head. They know what you're going to do. They know you're going to hit them on the wrist and then you're going to step in and bring the elbow into their face. Right? So they have time to think about what you're going to do. So they're ready for you. In the circle of fighting, in the circle of self-defense, surprise will be the biggest. The element of surprise is your biggest ally. It's the biggest advantage. Once you lost that element of surprise, once the other person knows what the technique looks like, any technique can be broken. I can have described to me technique invented by some great masters in martial arts. I can sit here and I can tell you it doesn't work. And if these people perform those techniques on me exactly like they described it, I can break those techniques no problem. Because knowing what they are going to do already gives me the advantage. If you don't believe me, next time you get into this conversation with your friend, they ask you to show them a technique. First time they grab you by the neck, you hit them on the wrist and bring your elbow into their face, they tell you that technique doesn't work. They ask you to do it again. So they grab your throat again. This time, rather than hitting to the wrist, hit the elbow and move behind them and put your hand over their eye. They ask you to do it again. Again, they grab your throat. This time, hit the forearm with both of your hands and bring the knee into their groin. Change it up every single time. This way, they are not ready to break your technique, and you're not going to think that the technique you're taught doesn't work. It's not the technique that's the problem. The people that's the problem. For example, I'll give you another example. Let's say you have a very good boxer, and you ask that boxer, "Can you show me your left hook?" And that boxer gives you a very beautiful left hook to the face. And then you come back and you say, "Do that left hook again, exactly the same. I'll show you why it doesn't work." If he is foolish enough to throw the same left hook at exactly the same angle, I can guarantee you, unless you are just kind of slow, but otherwise I can guarantee you the second time that hook comes, you are going to step out of the way. Because you know it's going to come. You know what angle it's going to be. You know which hand it's going to be. But that doesn't make him any less of a boxer. It doesn't make the left hook not work. It's how the technique is presented and how the question is asked in the first place. So don't let it discourage you. Anyone can break any technique as long as they're forewarned, as long as you don't change things up. This is why it's so important not to stick to one or two techniques only. Always do something different. As I said, I have done this to people myself, but most of the time, if if they do their technique on me and they succeed the first time, even when I think the technique sucks, I'm not going to come back and say, "Do it again." I'm going to show you why it doesn't work. Because that's not fair. I already know why it doesn't work. I will break the person's technique on the first attempt. So let's say Bruce here tell me, "I know a great technique to break someone grabbing my wrist." And if I have a mind to, I will say, "Okay, here, I'll grab your wrist and you try your move." Well, obviously he's a training dummy, he's not going to move, but we're just going to use that as an example. I will grab his wrist, and then at this point, it's very even. He doesn't know what I will do. I don't know what he's going to do. But if as soon as he starts to move, I feel that this technique is flawed, I am going to try to break it on the first attempt and show him it doesn't work. That is how you should properly illustrate techniques failing on the first pass, not on the second pass, because on the second pass that's almost cheating. You already know what's going to happen. Sometimes there are techniques that really either don't work or are not taught properly. I have came across this one female student once that told me that she doesn't need to learn self-defense. She already took a lot of classes. She already knew her stuff. And so I said to her, I said, "Okay, just out of interest, I want to see what you can do. Let me grab your wrist and you do your thing." I grabbed her wrist with my left hand, and before she even started moving, I started slapping her on the body, on the shoulder. Not hard, but not but firm enough to that she would register. So I'm holding on to her left wrist. I'm slapping her with my right hand, and she just stood there stunned. She didn't know what to do. Her great wrist escape technique wouldn't come out. Did that mean her technique not no, didn't work? No. That just meant the way she was taught was flawed. Probably the kind of class she was taking. If one person grab the other person's wrist and just stand there waiting for the person to do their thing. On the street, no one do it like that. If you get attacked out there, the person grab your wrist is going to be pulling you away or shoving you back or hitting you while they are holding onto your wrist. So if you want to learn techniques that actually work, if you want your technique to work, you got to train realistically. Obviously, you don't want to just start smacking the holy bejeebies out of each other, but just firm pressure. Okay? You're not going to kill each other, you're not going to put each other in the hospital, but this definitely will hurt a little bit. And this allows the body to process, okay, it's not just my wrist getting grabbed. This person is actually hitting me. What do I do? How do I respond? So today, I want to talk about how to escape from some standard uh, being bear hugged or being grabbed around your torso. Since my beautiful girlfriend posed the question to me a couple of days ago, I thought actually a good thing to review. Now, of course, without a real partner here, I won't be able to show you guys the full extent, but at least I can talk you guys through some of the basics. Let's say I'm walking around and someone come up from behind and grab me and bear hug. Okay, I don't really see anyone other than some of my good friends would try to do that. Like, I don't think anyone who wants to attack me or kidnap me is going to do this. Like, uh, I'm a pretty good sized dude, so I don't really foresee someone like that being done. But we definitely see that being done to female. So I end up having to teach this a lot. Okay? So someone throw their arm around your torso and try to pick you up. Maybe they're under your arm. Your arms are free. They just got your torso. Or maybe they got one arm over your shoulder like this. Or maybe they got both arms around your torso like this. Okay? Maybe your arms are trapped against your body like this. No matter what kind of grab they do, the first thing you want to do as soon as those arms come around you, is to drop into a nice, solid, deep squat. Widen your leg, drop down into a squat. Don't lose your balance either. Nice and solid. The lower you put your gravity, the harder it is for them to move you, and it will buy you some time. And then, step number two, if someone has their arm around you and you think they mean you ill, if they have bad intention, and if you can get at whatever self-defense tool you carry, this is the time to pull out that tactical pen or knife or whatever, okay? In my case, I don't need much, just this little tiny dollar store pair of scissors. That's more than sufficient. Once I pull this out, assuming the person's arms around me and my arms are not trapped, I'm going to bring this scissor up and down into the back of his hand, stabbing the back of his hand and wrist. Okay, I don't want to stab back at myself, mind you. I want to stab down, down, down. Okay, I would even hold him here. I would clamp down with my arm to trap his hand here. Just stab, 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 stab. Now, by that time, he's so busy trying to get away from that. Okay, he's trying to pull away. And all I have to do is let go and turn around and go for the face with the same pair of little dollar store scissors. Look at these. This this is so cheap. This scissors is so cheap that you can't hardly do anything with them. They can barely cut paper. But you know what? Self-defense, no problem. What if I don't have a weapon or a tool on me? They grab me. Let's say again, my arms are free. I'm going to hold on to one of their hand and then use the knuckle of my free hand to hit the back of their hand and just hit the back of their hand. A lot of nerve clusters there. They will let go. Okay? What if my arms are trapped? Let's say they get one arm over my shoulder, one arm comes from underneath like a seatbelt grip like this. That's okay. I still have one. I still can move my arm really well, even if they grab me like this, right? So same technique applies. Okay, in this case, I'm going to hit. As soon as I sense their grip weakening, I'm going to fish for their finger. Once I get a hold of the finger, I bend the finger back towards the wrist as I turn into them, breaking the finger. Okay, you break their finger, they're not going to keep coming after you. There's another technique that I use a lot when people grab me from behind during sparring and stuff like that that can allow me to throw them. I won't be able to show them here, unfortunately, but I'll show you guys one more. Let's say the person grabbed me and my arms are trapped, like this. They got me around my shoulder, my arms are trapped. Okay, if they're up here by my upper arm, then this is simple. All I have to do is yank down on one wrist while pushing the other arm to the ceiling. So what's going to happen is there's a kind of a turning motion and I can duck under their arm. And as I duck under their arm, I'm turning and most likely I would be kicking or my knee would come up right into the groin as I turn. Now that technique doesn't work if their arm is down by my forearm, like this. Right? If they grab me down by my forearm, then I can't really do that turning technique. So in this case, again, nice deep squat. I'm going to throw my butt into their groin as I go into my squat. I'm going to hit them with my butt to make them stagger a little bit. And when I do that, after I hit them with my butt, I'm going to arch forward to create room for my hand. I'm going to wiggle my shoulder so my hand go behind my butt between me and them. And when I get to this point, I'm going to be clawing into their groin, grabbing hold of the groin, pushing it in, and turning around to confront them. Yeah? So no matter what you do, that nice solid squat first. If you have your self-defense tool, pull it out. Otherwise, attack the hand, attack the back of the hand, or if they grab you around the shoulder, pull one arm down, lifting the other one and duck under. If they grab you low with their arm around your forearm, uh, around your belly and waist, and your forearms are trapped, hip check them, hit them with your butt, and then bring your hand behind you, claw for the groin, and then turn around. Now, what if they grab me from in front? Okay. In front is even better for me, of course. If they grab me under my arm, if my arms are free, again, going to that squat when their arm comes around my body, and from here, I just reach up my hand out between them, their face and mine, drive my thumb into the eye socket, pull the head over, And that's that. I just blinded them. Not going to be any more trouble. Okay? If they grab me with my arms trapped, if they get me around the body with my arms trapped, then nice deep squat like every other instance. This time I'm going to place my hand on their pelvis, on their pelvis. Okay? If you hit someone, if you shove someone back at the joint of the hip, no matter how big they are, you go into this nice deep squat and shove, they will stumble back. So once they stumble back, that again gives me room for my hand to work. And from this angle, once they stumble back, my hand goes right into the groin and I extract myself. There are many, many techniques. Some for escaping bear hug, some for escaping wrist grab. Some are better, some are worse. But just remember, if you have a friend or another guy who's into some other martial art wanting to prove you wrong, change up your technique and you'll find that things work a lot better if you don't keep repeating your technique so they can find a way to break it. Thank you for checking out today's Survival Saturday. We'll be back again tomorrow for Soul Search Sunday. For now, have a good night. Stay safe.